Assalamualaikum, my name is Nur Aida Shafina and I will be the first presenter for today. ICD-10 can be defined as a system of categories of diseases that being assigned according to the established criteria. It has been developed collaboratively between WHO and various international centers.
Hi, my name is Farah Wahida. I'm going to explain about causes of death. So basically, causes of death consist of 2 points, which is the first one is underlying cause. The underlying cause of the death refer to the disease or injury that initiated the chain of morbid events leading directly to death, or the circumstances of the accident or violence that produced the injury. For example, stroke, heart disease, and cancer. Next, the second point of causes of death is multiple causes. Multiple causes of death are the immediate cause of death and all other intermediate and contributing conditions listed on the death certificate. For example, such as diabetes. That's all from me. Next, I will pass to Nur Amira to continue this presentation.
Hi, my name is Nur Amira Fahana and I will explain about sequences. So the term sequence refers to two or more conditions enter on a successive line of part 1, each condition being an acceptable cause of the one enter on the line above it. As you can see an example here, if there is more than one cause of death on a line of the certificate, it is possible to have more than one reported sequence. In the following example, 4 sequences are reported, which is first one, coma due to myocardial infarction due to atherosclerosis. Next, coma due to cerebrovascular accident due to atherosclerosis. And then coma due to myocardial infarction due to hypertension. And the last one is coma due to cerebrovascular accident due to hypertension. Next is general principle. When more than one condition is entered on the certificate, select the condition entered alone on the lowest used line of part 1 only if it could have given rise to all conditions entered above it. The general principle is the rule under which certifier's report is accepted using the following criteria in the order stated, which is one condition is entered on the lowest used line and all the conditions entered above it must be entered a reported sequence and there must be only one condition per line. From the example, select cirrhosis of liver. This is a reported sequence. Each condition on the successive line in part 1 is an acceptable cause of the one entered on the line above it. The sequence is cerebral hemorrhage due to nephritis due to cirrhosis of liver. Or it must be probable that the condition reported alone on the lowest used line could have given rise to all the conditions entered above it. So here from the example, select chronic alcoholism. It is not necessary for the condition on A and B to be causally related, since the condition enter alone on C and can give rise to both conditions. Congestive heart failure is due to chronic alcoholism and cerebral hemorrhage is due to chronic alcoholism. If this general principle approach cannot be applied, coder should refer to 3 selection rules. So now I will pass to Aida to explain more about selection rules.
Next, I will explain about the selection rules. There are 3 rules that have been stated in selection rule. Rule number 1, if one sequences be reported, we should pick the originating cause of sequences. If there is 2 or more sequences, we should pick the originating cause that been first mentioned of sequences. Rule number 2, if there is no reported sequences, we should select first mentioned conditions. Rule number 3 is called as direct sequel, which is if rule number 1 or rule number 2 did not happen, we need to select the primary conditions as our sequences. That's all from me. Thank you.
Now, I will explain about the modification rules. So basically, the modification rules consist of 6 rules, such as the first one is senility and other ill-defined conditions, where the selected cause is ill-defined and a condition classified as well as reported on the certificate, we select the cause of death as if the ill-defined condition had not been reported, except to take account of that condition if it modifies the coding. For example, I95.9, which is hypotension unspecified. Next, we move to the rule B, trivial condition. Trivial condition, where the selected cause is a trivial condition unlikely to cause death, and a more serious condition, any condition except an ill-defined or another trivial condition is reported, we select the underlying cause as if the trivial condition had not been reported. For example, code of record is E149 for diabetes. Furthermore, as for Rule C is linkage, where the selected cause is linked by a provision in the classification or in the notes for use in underlying cause mortality coding with one or more of the other condition on the certificate, code the combination. Type of linkage that we can see in the record such as I219 for coronary thrombosis. Next, we move to Rule D. For Rule D, which is specificity, specificity is where the selected cause describe a condition in general term and a term that provide more precise information about the site or nature of this condition is reported on the certificate. Prefer the more informative term. This rule will often apply when the general term becomes an adjective qualifying the more precise term. After that, for Rule E indicates of early and late stages of disease where the selected cause is an early stage of a disease and a more advanced stage of the same disease is reported on the certificate. Code to the more advanced stage. This rule does not apply to a chronic form reported as due to an acute form unless the classification gives special instruction to the effect. Last but not least, for Rule F, which is sequela, where the selected cause is an early form of a condition for which the classification provides a separate sequela of category, and there is evidence that death occur from residual effect of this condition rather than from those of its active base, code the appropriate sequela of categories such as sequela of tuberculosis and sequela of leprosy. That's all from me. Next, I will pass to Khadija to continue this presentation.
Hi, my name is Sitina Khadija and I will explain about multiple causes of death. Multiple causes of death is a valuable supplement to underlying cause data. By using only the underlying cause of death, valuable information is lost. So there are two types of related multiple causes output. For the first one is entity axis, and for the second one is a record axis. For entity axis is a closer to what is actually entered by certifier and includes the placement of the condition on the death certificate. So for example, 21K359. 21 is indicates whether the part 1 or part 2 and which line in part. So 1 is indicates sequence order within the line, and K359 is ICD-10 code itself. So for the record axis is a transformation of the entity axis. So more useful for analysis and tabulations. Redundant conditions are deleted and certain conditions are combined. So for analytic uses include the only source of nature of injury informations. According to the WHO conventions, they tabulate the death according to the external causes rather than the nature of the injury. Next, association among conditions contributing to death, study of the nature and quality of medical certifications, and lastly, to see how often the medical certifier correctly complete the death certificate. That's all from us. Thank you.